I learned to level up my life when I learned to integrate spirituality into my day-to-day habits rather than just using spirituality as a tool or as a mindset. If you are looking to integrate spirituality into your day-to-day life and also looking to level up, then come chat with me because I'm going to tell you how I did it and how you can also utilize these things to do it too. My name is Tmonee. Welcome to the Zen Den. This is the comfort place. This hopefully will become your happy place. And if you are into spirituality, astrology, or you're a black girl in luxury, you're in the right place. I kind of conducted a list of specific things that I did to level up my life, and it came down to like 6 specific things. The first thing I did was joined a spiritual community. The second thing I did was shadow work. And the next thing that I did was I learned about astrology, but I also learned how to apply astrology into my day-to-day life. I changed my mindset, but I also changed my actions to fit my new mindset. Okay, that is so important because the last part plays into this is that I learned how to honor myself. And through honoring myself, I'm going to be honest, y'all, that probably might be the most important thing that I did that helped level up my lifestyle. So let's get into it. So when it comes to a community, let's start there. How do you get into a community? How do you find a spiritual community? I was looking maybe for a coven or maybe just for, honestly, me personally, I don't want a group to be a part of. I'd rather just have a spiritual mentor or a leader that I could have just went to. And I didn't have that back then. One thing that I've learned when it comes to community is the best place to find this is through social media. And I highly recommend Facebook if you guys are looking for a direct community to go ask your questions. You need answers right away. You're even looking for businesses to shop from. You want to go find Facebook groups. When I was seeking just knowledge in general, I love these places because not only are there actual spiritual mentors who've been on their journey for a long time who actually do have applications open, but they also have PDF files and books. So that was the first thing that I did when it came to integrating spirituality into my lifestyle. Number 1, I armored myself with support. Number 2, I armored myself with knowledge. And number 3, I utilized the collective consciousness. Now this leads into the next thing that I actually did not even add into my list of things, but it is important to pay attention to the things that are being reflected to you. And your algorithm is going to be the number 1 way to see what your daily perception is and what is constantly reflecting back to you. And I like to look at our algorithm because our algorithm is the collective consciousness. Through looking at my social media feeds, I started realizing what the things that were reflecting back to me said about me and about what I like, what I want, and the lifestyle that I'm living. So it is very important to pay attention to what you're interacting with. What are you digesting on a daily, consistent basis? Because that's also going to play a whole lot into the lifestyle that you're currently living right now. So another thing that helped me level up my lifestyle, I told you guys, was astrology. When it comes to astrology, another thing that I actually learned to do when it came to integrating astrological concepts into my life is I started living by the astrological seasons rather than just planetary retrogrades. So for example, we are in Pisces season and I'm going to talk about that a lot more in my next video, but I've started honoring the themes of the seasons and integrating them into my daily lifestyles and my habits. And that has started to change my life, y'all, a lot. It leveled up my life so much. I wanted to learn about astrology. I joined astrology groups called Learning Astrology, and I started digesting content. And I learned everything. I started looking into concepts such as transits. Transits refer to the planetary movements that are happening. And sometimes you will also hear this referred to as progressions at time. It depends. But what I will say is I was going through a turbulent time when I started applying astrology in my day-to-day life. I was going through a really severe bad health issue where I was concerned about my life. And I just wanted to have an answer that I was going to receive good news. And so I had an appointment already made. And when I went to go look at my transit chart, the day that I was supposed to be receiving good health news is the day that I had made my appointment for my doctors. And yes, I did end up receiving good news that day. So after that day is when I truly started studying the moon cycles more and the themes of the moon cycles, as well as the themes of the planets. And I started paying attention to the movements, and I actually started integrating it into my life. Now, if you guys want to know how I did that, I will show you that later in another video. Matter of fact, it'll be in our next video. But I started using astrology, but actually applying astrology. And when I learned how to manifest, that worked for me. And this helped me master my manifestation technique to the point where I manifested everything in my life. And that's how I leveled up my life even more. When it came to my mindset, I had a lot to undo, guys. Like a lot to undo when it came to actually redoing my mindset, my thought processes. And this is where we get into the talk of shadow work. Because when I got into shadow work, y'all, it was actually by accident. I was 20 years old at the time. And at this point, I was going through a really bad friendship. And I don't know what it was. Actually, I do know what it was. My Sade Sati, it refers to 7 years of like karma, dharma. It's a whole thing I learned about. But I had actually started that astrological time period in Eastern astrology when this all started going down, which made so much sense later on in my life. My intuition was off the charts, and I just couldn't understand why. I just knew everything at once and also could not see anything. Like, it was like the physical realm around me was actually very hard to see clearly, but the metaphysical was the clearest part that I could see. I had never experienced anything like that at the time. So because I had never experienced something like that, y'all, I didn't have anyone or anything to rely on, not even my spiritual community or groups. So I had to rely on me. I went to the mirror, y'all. I said, most people are afraid of the mirrors and mirror magic. I'm not. I've never been afraid of my reflection. I'm not afraid of these other spirits that think they can come through. So instead, when I sat down in the mirror like I was in a therapy session, and I just started being honest with myself. All my friends can't be bad. It can't just be them. I'm the common denominator. For some reason, I attract and allow these people into my life. I need to start asking myself why. Asking the universe. I need to ask me, what's going on? And that day is the day that I started shadow work. Shadow work is therapy. Shadow work is reevaluating your mindset, your processes, your reactions, your triggers, your coping mechanisms, just an evaluation of you and where things came from. It's when I started taking just accountability for the decisions that I've made, for the people that I were allowing around, because there were people that literally energetically I did not accept. And the moment I met them, I was like, I'm not going to be friends with you. I know I shouldn't be friends with you. But because of people pleasing, lack of boundaries, and some people will also say empathy, because I also felt like I can't write you off as a person if I didn't allow you to show me who you are. I allowed these people into my life anyway, and I got burned. I learned, start honoring thyself, which was my last lesson to leveling up my life. Honor yourself, thyself. When you don't honor thyself, you're not honoring anybody around you. You're lying to everybody when you lie to yourself. When I started undoing my thought processes and all of those things, it was through journal prompts. I would journal. I have multiple books over here. What I love about these books were the prompts, because they get deep. I'm gonna show you some of these prompts that I had to do, where I sometimes had to stop writing in this book because how deep it was getting and how much I would have to answer and divulge with myself. And I ended up realizing that I can't even be vulnerable with me. So if I can't be vulnerable with me and my authentic self with me, how am I being vulnerable with others and being authentic to them? And I've always lived my life very intuitively. So to learn this about myself, that I'm actually not honoring my intuition, I'm not honoring myself as much as I thought I should be doing, this was a mind blowing, y'all. And I had to really start going within myself and saying, who taught you, or when did you stop trusting yourself? Why did you stop trusting yourself? People come to me for everything, but nobody listens. And because of that, I realized I became like that with myself. I would come to me And I would know the decisions I had to make, and I would do the complete opposite. So it's very important to start evaluating the things that happen externally outside of you, because you will realize just how much of that we internalize into ourselves. But once I stopped internalizing those things and I said, I'm truly going to honor my intuition and I'm only going to live intuitively. And that doesn't mean that logic does not exist within my life. But what it does mean that when it's time to honor my intuition, where there's decisions to be made, the first answer I'm going to pay attention to is the intuitive one. And typically, the intuitive answer I have always matches up with the logical, thoughtful ones. So I love that I have learned to also be balanced, because being balanced in your mind and your heart is also important. But we'll get deeper into that when we talk about more things. Want to know how to level up your life? Do shadow work. Learn astrology, maybe apply it to your life if that calls to you. Honor yourself. Restructure, reorganize, and reset your mindset, your processes, all of that. And find yourself some community. Reset your algorithms. You will level up in life. It's Pisces season, and I am entering Pisces season by uploading my first video. So make sure that you guys celebrate with me. I'm super excited. All right, y'all, but this is how we're ending out this week of Pisces season. I just wanted to introduce myself to you guys. I'm excited to be here on the YouTube platform because I'm over on TikTok. I'm now starting to post on Instagram, and now we're on Shorts as well. So I'm really excited to see my journey with you guys and see where we go. So if you want to know more about the astrological seasons, how to apply them into your life, and you also want to know exactly how I manifested my life, y'all, I need you to pay attention to the next video.